Hello, good evening, and welcome to Beyond the Boundary. Y'all are watching TOI Sports, our YouTube channel, and today we have a packed cricketing news development. We've had a new captain, RCB's eighth captain in Rajat Patidar, with the blessings of Virat Kohli. We'll also be talking about India's 3-0 sweep of England in Ahmedabad, and we'll also talk about what Coach Gautam Gambhir said, that India will be banking on KL Rahul as their wicketkeeper batter. So, what does it do to Rishabh Pant in the Champions Trophy? We're going to be joined by Dwaipayan Datta from Chennai and Saurabh Somani from Bangalore. And we'll also be joined by Manuja Virappa in a short while from Bangalore. Hello, guys.
Hi, hi.
Hello, hello.
Saurabh, I'll start with you, Saurabh, since you're a Bangalore boy. What do you make of RCB's choice to lead them in this edition of the IPL?
It's definitely an interesting choice, and I think it'll be fair to say until maybe a couple of days back, it would have been a very unexpected choice. Everyone was, thinking that it was going to be Virat Kohli to lead them, uh,
Hmm.
and while Rajat led Madhya Pradesh really well in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, and he batted beautifully in that tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Nobody thought of him as a leading candidate to captain an IPL side yet. One thing he has going for him is, I think his batting is at a great level right now. He has a very calm sort of demeanor. He has a great backroom staff with Andy Flower, Dinesh Karthik, Mo Bobart, and all those guys there. Virat Kohli, in his video message, I attended the press conference where they unveiled Rajat as the new captain, and they showed a
Hmm.
video message from Virat Kohli, and he was very effusive in his support and praise of Rajat as a person, as a cricketer. So he has all those things going for him, and obviously it's a whole different kettle of fish, leading a state side versus leading an IPL team, different nationalities, different cultures, all mixing together. You have to be that commanding presence to pull them all together. So I really hope he does that. He's a lovely batsman to watch.
Hmm.
One of the people who was involved with the Indian team management in the previous regime actually told me that they had him as one of their picks in their first choice 11 for a T20I side, because there is nobody who hits spin better than Rajat. I
Yeah.
mean, Shivam Dube hits them longer, but Rajat has this, almost finessed brutality about spin that nobody else has. So they had him in their first choice 11. So he's considered that good by people who have been there and been in sort of decision making places. So he definitely has all that going for him. So obviously, I would wish him all the best, and let's see how it unfolds.
Mm-hmm. Dwaipan, what about you? I mean, shades of what CSK did with Ruturaj Gaikwad, captaining the franchise after the legendary MS Dhoni decided to step back. Obviously, here we had Faf du Plessis first replacing Kohli, but then in terms of star-studded teams and a relatively lower profile player captaining such a star-studded side, shades of CSK over here as well.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I was thinking also. And I am a great fan of this idea of an Indian captain who is a who is a de- who has a definite place in the 11. So from
Hmm.
that perspective, Rajat Patidar is a good choice. Is a very good choice, and the fact that he will be back much like the CSK model, where Ruturaj is the captain, but 50% of the captaincy is being done by Dhoni or more without the
Yeah.
burden of captaincy. I think it will be something similar in the case of RCB also, where Virat Kohli will be pulling the strings in the field, in the dugout. He will be doing that job, but yes, Rajat Pati, but he will be pressure free. That is
Hmm.
very important. Virat Kohli go. It has a lot of positives to it. A, Virat Kohli goes into the IPL pressure free. B, Rajat Patidar gets that responsibility, and he is an Indian player who is in fine form, and that finished brutality that Saurabh said, it's a beautiful term. It's a very good way of expressing the way this guy played. And I also like what Sayan Mustafa finally did against England. And I hope RCB does something that they haven't done in all these years.
Okay. We also say a big hi to Manuja. Manuja, hi. Firstly, your views on your latest captain, and also bit intrigued whether Virat Kohli said no to the job, and whether he was approached, and did he say
Um,
no to the job?
so I think there was always a popular opinion that he was the automatic choice once they retained just three Indians and went for a very high performance, low profile kind of a Indian setup that they brought in, say Krunal Pandya and all of that. From what I understand, Nitin, this process started last year after the season where Patidar has also been asked to start leading, and he led Madhya Pradesh quite well in the domestic season. Only white ball, if
Yeah,
I'm not wrong, this season.
yeah, yeah.
This was something which was told to him, and uh, one of the reasons why RCB is saying that Virat was never in captaincy contention is because in 2021, when after the 2021 season, when he relinquished captaincy, he had
Hmm.
very clearly said, "This was my last leg of IPL captaincy." So it and
Yeah, in
it
the
was
note
with
that
a
he put
kind.
out. In the note that he put out, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there was a sense of finality that he had brought into this whole thing, uh, and obviously I don't think he wanted to go back on that. And like Dwaipan was saying, he'd also spoken about the freedom that comes with not being a captain. Uh, but again, like I think there are only two franchises in IPL which have that kind of a thing where there is virtual demigods of in the form of Dhoni and Kohli, and the entire team structure revolves around it. Like Mobot said, doesn't matter whether Kohli is captain or not, he is the
Hmm.
leader there.
Yeah.
It's a natural instinct to him, and I don't see a reason why captaincy in this situation will be such a high stakes. It's a high pressure situation for Patidar. Uh, he's probably the most understated captain of uh, RCB, because this is a franchisee which has been led by legends, whether it's Dravid, Kumble, Peterson, Virat, Faf,
Yeah.
Shane Watson a season, Vittori. So
Yeah.
I think the pressure of expectation of uh, the people who've led before will be there on him. Uh, but I think one of the things that RCB should be really happy about is I think there was some uncertainty in terms of the reception of how people are going to take it. I think
Hmm.
that kind of was mellowed down or softened with Virat Kohli's video message today.
Okay. Hmm. Dwaipan, is this should we look at this captaincy stint for RCB for Rajat Patidar also maybe as a vehicle to make a comeback? I mean, he had poor guy. He had quite a disastrous start to his Test career against England. He was given a run of three tests, but I think he just froze in all those three Test matches and played some um, unbelievably bad shots, which you don't expect from such a seasoned guy. Does Can he view this as a vehicle for a national team comeback as well?
I think so in other formats. I hope his IPL performances will not be the benchmark for a red ball comeback, which has sometimes been the case in Indian cricket of late.
Hmm.
But if he has to come back to red ball cricket, then it should be on the basis of red ball performances, and IPL being the benchmark for the temperament part of it. But the performances should be red ball performances, which should be taken into account. But as far as white ball cricket, yes, if places open up, because see, in T20 cricket, it is such a log jam in the Indian
Yeah.
T20 setup. It is very difficult to see a new head coming in from somewhere. So i- uh, uh, I think it is a step in the right direction for RCB, and if he does well without putting extra burden on himself, it should stand him in good state going forward. But when will the India call up happen? That is a matter of conjecture. That is difficult to predict at the moment. And I think the openings in the Indian team will easier openings should happen in red ball cricket given the kind of performances that we have had in the past few months. White ball cricket openings may not be that easy to come up, but
I think we lost Dwaipan for a while. I think Ankar Biswas is concurring with some of our views, saying with this, if Rajat performs in this year's IPL, he has a good chance to be part of the 15-man squad for next year's T20 World Cup team. You want to take that, Saurabh?
Yeah, like I said earlier, also, I to fully concur. I think I would be really happy to see him there. I think he offers something in the middle order as a spin hitter that very few people do. I but like Dwaipan Bhai was saying, the getting into the Indian T20 side is squad is going to be extremely difficult
Yeah,
because those who are there are also doing really well. So it's not like they have done anything that merits replacement.
yeah,
But you never know, how one IPL season goes. Like if somebody has a sudden tailing off of form, if somebody else has a great season, if Rajat is the one who has that great season and he, does something spectacular, like he had done in last year's second half, especially of the IPL. I think he was
yeah.
just amazing. So if he has that kind of a season while leading RCB, and if he does what we will not mention for fear of jinxing it, but what he does something that RCB haven't done before, then who knows, he might be in the Indian T20I squad also.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Dwaipan, you were saying something before your network kind of went off.
no, that's what I was saying. Like it is slightly, it is not very easy to get into the T20 scheme of things. So it is more or less what Saurav said. So that's what it is. So I
Okay.
hope he does well and kind of keeps himself in the reckoning, because India plays 25 more T20s going into the next T20
20 World
World
Cup.
Cup, and there will not be another IPL after this. So,
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
change, these T20 internationals will be very important for the selection of the Indian T20 team for 2026. So,
Mm-hmm.
25 matches is quite a lot, and there can be openings somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
But right away, I don't know, because there are people are playing well.
Mm-hmm. Manuja, I just want to, the RCB crowd and the fans, we all know how passionate they are and how they get behind their team. We saw it when the women's team also won it last year. I also, and I saw it during the Syed Mushtaq Ali final also, which was played in Bangalore when Mumbai were playing Madhya Pradesh, and when Rajat Patidar played that blinder, there were chants of RCB, 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 people wearing RCB shirts and supporting MP. Uh, I I want to know the equation of the fans with Rajat Patidar. I think every RCB supporter, I think, got wowed by the innings that he played in the eliminator against who was it against Lucknow
Lucknow.
at the Eden Gardens. Yeah, and I think, is he the only guy to score 100 in a playoff in the eliminator? Is he the only player still to score
Only
100 in the
one from
eliminator?
RCB, I think. Only one from RCB for sure.
Only
I
one
don't
from
know.
RCB.
Okay, okay. So I mean, how do we see that relationship going on? I mean, we already got a dry run of that during the Syed Mushtaq Ali and also the Ranji Trophy final in 2022 when MP were playing Bombay.
Just to give you a kind of an indicator of how crazy the RCB fans are. I remember when Madhya Pradesh won and Patidar played so well, when that whole RCB chant was going on. I was in the stadium and I tweeted and I said, please give some credit to Madhya Pradesh team, and he's representing Madhya Pradesh here. Can't tell you how badly I got trolled. So for an RCB fan, it's just it's just not like in India, Nitin. India Australia women's ODI being played in Brisbane. You have RCB flag there. You have people wearing RCB jerseys. And they say between both the teams we have 6 RCB players playing, so we've come to support the girls. So, and a lot of the support that the women's team, RCB women's team, has received is also because of the fan following the men's team have. And it's like a cult following that has been built over the years. Yes, Virat has had a huge role to play in it. I don't know of another team which has not fulfilled its potential and promises and yet had the kind of fan base that they have. Very rarely will you see RCB fans not backing their players. And it doesn't matter whether, sorry. So it doesn't matter if the RCB fan is in Delhi or Bombay or Bangalore. They have a fan base which I'll only think CSK has in terms of volumes, and the reception in terms of see, the moment Kohli has vouched for Patidar, if there was any kind of angst or discontent amongst fans, I think that kind of slowly faded away. He's definitely going to get all the backing from the fans, but if there's ever a situation that Patidar will bat before Kohli, a hypothetical situation, people will continue to clap and cheer his dismissal in anticipation of Kohli's arrival at his crease. So that's how they are, I guess. I mean, I think
he can maybe just
best.
Yeah, I think he can, for that to get adjusted to that, and maybe he can just make a phone call to another Bengalurian, Rahul Dravid, and ask him how did he feel batting at 3 and how people cheered his dismissal to welcome a certain SRT at number 4.
Yes.
So
and we saw it happen in Bangalore, and it's very unfortunate that way, Nitin. It's one of the venues where Rahul Dravid doesn't have a century, his home ground.
Yeah. Well, we've discussed enough
just
about.
Add one line to this story, because in that
Sure.
1989 Test match, India versus Pakistan in Eden Gardens, so Rahul Dravid comes in and gets bowled by Shoaib Akhtar. Crowd goes completely silent, and then they start cheering because Tendulkar is coming in, and I'm sitting and said, "What nonsense is this?" And Shoaib Akhtar didn't take more than one ball to silence us all over again. Yeah.
Well, the IPL, will keep on happening and we'll keep on coming back to it. I think there might be one more Madhya Pradesh boy who might go on to lead another franchise somewhere eastern part of India. Maybe Dwaipayan, Saurabh and Manuja maybe can dwell on that.
UP boy. Will it be a UP boy or a...
or a UP boy, yeah.
Same, so, North India and MP. Here also there was North India and MP.
Absolutely. So maybe we'll keep on coming back to the IPL in the due course of time. But let's briefly dwell on what happened yesterday at Ahmedabad. India registering a 3-0 clean sweep over England. Firstly, Saurabh, I want to ask you about the kind of comments that we saw by KP on air, and the rebuff that he got from both McCullum and Butler, about the English cricket team more interested in playing golf and not training enough, and that is why they suffered the kind of defeats that they did. Your views on England's approach throughout this series, throughout this white ball leg of the India tour?
I mean, they can't play spin, right? So it's not. It was not so much of lack of trying as a lack of skills. Like when you are so outmatched in Indian conditions against an Indian team that is at the top of its form with spinners in form and batsmen just even Rohit is scoring centuries now. So it's like there's not much that any team might have been able to do. Now I don't know how much truth there was to KP's thing. It felt slightly sensationalist to me that
Yeah,
they have not
typical,
practiced at all.
typical of the man.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously if you have not practiced at all, then that is something to point out if you are losing. But I don't
Yeah,
think that was the case, right? Like they had maybe just not as a entire group, but that is what we call that naughty boy nets, right? That
yeah,
if you
yeah.
lose, you're made to all come on the ground and do a hard net session and all. And I think the modern way of thinking is not that. It's like you give a little more freedom and especially in a tightly packed series like this. No, it's not like you have a lot of days. You're playing one day, you're traveling the next day, then you have
Yeah.
one day, and then you have another match. So it's not as if you had plenty of time to have nets and you didn't turn up or something. It just might be that some people function better with more rest. Doesn't mean you can give them complete rest, obviously, but I don't think that happened anyway. So and England's approach, I don't know. It seemed like they really need to, it was back to the old days of them not being able to play spin. They had a period in the middle where they were really good, and now there's a lot of sliding back a little. I thought Joe Root coming would make a difference. Maybe it's just that he needs to get into his groove a little bit more. But I, I think they were just outclassed, and when you're outclassed, you're outclassed. There's nothing much you can do about it, no matter
Hmm,
how much practice you do or what you do.
hmm, hmm. Dvaipan, your views on, I mean, should we get very excited about India's performance before the Champions Trophy, or should England get very despondent about their performance? I mean, I'm a bit confused because sometimes when I read England's comments, I mean, I was seeing something that Ben Duckett spoke about how they don't care if they lose very badly to India, but as long as they end up winning the Champions Trophy. Uh, it almost sounded similar to what Ben Stokes said about the WTC standings. He said that I don't understand the WTC standings. How should why should we be placed so low? Why should we be fined for over rates and lose points and suffer? So I want to know from you. I mean, having covered cricket for so long and having seen so many English teams, should we treat this as something great that's happened with India, or should we? And likewise, should being an if you're an England supporter, should you be down in the dumps?
See, I have a very simple theory about white ball, bilateral white ball cricket in India. That is, India is infinitely superior to to all these teams that play. They are in India is so much superior on these conditions that it is virtually impossible to play them in India in bilateral cricket. See, bilateral cricket, one thing we should always remember is that other teams, many of the other teams, even we do, but the teams like South Africa, Australia, they treat it as a laboratory experimenting the for World Cup or Championship or something like that. So, but for India, the desperation to win is a little more, and that shows. And having said that, the quality of the white ball team on Indian conditions in bilateral series is much higher. It can change in those one-off ICC matches in the business end where India sometimes falters,
Hmm.
because there the mind comes in, the pressure comes in, the pressure of the situation starts playing, and it is not always the skill set that matters. Suddenly a target of 255 can look like 325 if you lose to that if India were chasing 248 in the first ODI, 19 for 2, if it was the World Cup final, Shreyas Iyer probably wouldn't have been able to play with that same freedom that he did.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are the little things, those are the little subtleties that matter. India is a very, very good white ball side in subcontinental Dubai, these kinds of this, and even abroad, even in South Africa also they play. They are a very good white ball side. I have no doubt about it, and it is. I think we have reached a stage where India losing a white ball tournament or a white ball match is an upset. They may lose, but if they lose before a final, then it will be an upset.
Hmm, hmm. Manuja, I mean, we spoke about RCB fans, a bit about the Indian fan also. I would want to ask you here: would such an approach taken by an Indian team or an Indian team think tank, where they would not care about a bilateral series, how would that be taken by the Indian media and the Indian supporters if they would enter a bilateral series before such a big tournament, with this kind of an experimentation or this kind of an attitude?
Completely depends on the results,
Yeah.
because we love our results. You can really slog it out, you know, go down fighting, but for an
Hmm.
Indian fan, it's the win that matters. So whether it
Correct.
was I mean, either ways, I think we also take our cricket very seriously. The English clearly have other priorities in sport, which is very nice. I mean, please
Hmm.
enjoy sport. Don't take it to heart the way you do. Uh,
Yeah.
but then again, it's an I think, England for long now have treated bilateral series like that. I'm not saying, like you said, Peterson saying anything is anyways a little over the top, but I think that was also triggered by a lot of comments on their lack of nets.
Yeah. Yeah.
If India had gone to England, lost out on a series, oh my God, we would be flooded with pictures, evidence, sources talking about unrest, no team dinner, late nights, you name it, and you would have had every story under the sun. Field day.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Great for content creators. Great for content creators.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Dwaipan, I'll also want your views quickly on this. All three of you are welcome to join in. I was very intrigued by what Gautam Gambhir said. Firstly, I was very happy that he finally addressed a press conference, because throughout the
Only
series he hadn't.
after a win.
Only
Only
after
after.
win, yeah, yeah, only after win.
He has
So
never come after a defeat.
he's never come after defeat. Yeah, he did. I think after Sydney, I think he came. He came after
Okay.
Sydney. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. I'm intrigued by what he said about KL Rahul and about Rishabh Pant. Um, your views on what he said about not being able to carry two wicketkeeper batters, and the way again KL Rahul's position has been almost used like a yo-yo in this series, batting at 6-6, batting at number 5. He played a nice cameo yesterday. Your views on what you feel about this Pant versus Rahul scenario and this obsession, and he also justified his tactics of sending Akshar Patel at 5 to break that monotony of right-handers. But when you played the World Cup final and played so well throughout the World Cup, you had six right-handers following each other back to back. So just was a bit intrigued to read and listen to those views.
There are two ways of looking at it. One is, yes, one thing that Gautam Gambhir has given a clarity. Like it has been made clear that KL Rahul will be the wicket keeper and he will be the first 11 player, first 11 choice. That in a way is good that the team management has decided on it, and that has been made public. That is that is a good thing to do. But coming to the second part of it, uh, how is KL Rahul playing ahead of Rishabh Pant? That is a mystery to me. I don't know. What they are seeing in the nets, what they are seeing in the middle, what is the logic behind it? I do not know. I really do not know how KL Rahul gets preference ahead of a gun player like Rishabh Pant, of whom the entire world is scared of. If one bat player in this Indian lineup across formats the world is scared of, that is Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant and Jasprit Bumrah. These are the two players the world is scared of, and go- and he doesn't feature in the ODI 11. Maybe they see something in the nets. Maybe it has something to do with the conditions, playing spin, grafting. Those could be the issues. I do not know, and it is, as far as I am concerned, it is completely inexplicable because I see Rishabh Pant as an undroppable player
across formats.
or across formats.
Okay, okay. Saurabh, your views. I mean, uh, bit of a residue here between what happened at the MCG in the second innings and what the coach apparently told in the dressing room, saying "बहुत हो गया" and players should know the situation that they play in, and Rohit also coming in the PC and asking Rishabh का कौन सा वाला shot, पहला वाला या दूसरा वाला. Bit of a residue of those things happening here.
That's actually interesting. I had not considered that. It could well be,
Hmm.
residue. I just thought that since KL has been India's first choice keeper batter since even before Rishabh Pant had his that horrible accident. So they're just basically KL Rahul has not done anything to be dropped. I see, the up and by's point that you have a player like Rishabh Pant, you get him in, but it's like it would be extremely harsh on KL Rahul to be dropped. But again, the other point is harsh calls is a fact of life in a strong team. You will always have players sitting on the bench who have done nothing wrong. But it's just that is why a team is strong when you have so many. Like that's what happened with Australia when they were
Yeah,
dominating, right? Like you had so many guys who could have had, Brad Hodge in any other team might have been 100 test man, and
yeah, yeah.
he
He
never,
got dropped
yeah.
after he made 257.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
Stuart
yeah.
Law hardly got Michael Bevan didn't get a proper run in tests. Is like so many, So
Andy
that is
Bickle.
unfortunately Andy Bickle.
Yeah,
Wow, yeah.
yeah.
So there's so many players in strong teams who always will be sitting on the bench. So it is. I would have personally no issue team wise if they choose Rishabh Pant over KL Rahul. Although I would personally think that yeah, bechara KL Rahul, he has not done anything wrong, but I understand the call. So I think that was the thing. What interested me about Gautam Gambhir's press conference was his comments on Shreyas Iyer and Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Hmm.
Now, Jaiswal has been dropped from the Champions Trophy. So if he was not in your plans anyway, why did you make him play in the first ODI? And if Virat
Yeah.
Kohli was fit, he would have played ahead of Shreyas Iyer. Now you have only three ODIs before the Champions Trophy. I cannot fathom a reason or a logic that says, no, but we'll give Yashasvi a chance. Yashasvi Jaiswal is going to play for India for 10 years. But if he's not going to be in the Champions Trophy, then the immediate needs count for more than that. And Yashasvi Jaiswal has shown he can do it at Test cricket in the toughest of circumstances. He has shown he can do it in the IPL, in T20 cricket. It's not as if he's going to have a mega adjustment period to ODIs, that you need to give him one this thing now. It just, I think it smacks of actually post hoc, rationalizing, because suddenly Shreyas Iyer came in that first ODI, played brilliantly, counter-attacked brilliantly, made runs, then he continued to make runs throughout the series, played brilliantly throughout the series. So that suddenly you realize, oh, this guy is actually pretty good at ODIs. He's pretty good to have at number 4. We can't drop him. And that is why Yashasvi Jaiswal is out. But
Yeah.
if all this hinges on like one match, one series, then what does it say about the thinking of the team? I was not convinced with Gambhir's explanation at all, that we thought we'll give Yashasvi Jaiswal a go, because it doesn't make sense to give him a go if he's not going to be part of a Champions Trophy side. It's just Rohit Sharma's century has saved them that okay, Rohit Sharma
Yeah.
is not done yet. He can still, and to be fair, his century was absolutely awesome, but it showed that he's not done yet, and he can still be you can rely on him to be an opener. So that's why we can bench Yashasvi. We can go with five spinners. Why five spinners? Again, that is a different debate. I think we have discussed this on the show also. But
Hmm.
yeah, the whole thing, I was not too convinced by it.
Manuja, I mean, what
Nitin,
does this
I will
kind of?
just say one
Yeah, sure,
thing. Yeah,
sure, sure.
to Saurav's point, I think what they were thinking is that they were not sure of Bumrah's unavailability for the Champions Trophy. So had
Yeah,
Bumrah been available, then Varun Chakravarti probably wouldn't have come in, and
yeah,
this Yashasvi Jaiswal would have stayed. But moment Bumrah went out, that X factor player went out. So they
yeah.
needed that little bit of rejuggling, and Yashasvi Jaiswal became had
But
Ball
the
guy.
form. Yeah, that's what I
right,
felt.
but the juggling, was it fair to drop a batter when you're carrying only one spare guy in Rishabh Pant rather than a spinner when you're carrying four of them?
They are probably confident of the fact that this batting crop is enough to see them through 4 matches. I am not counting Bangladesh.
Hmm. Manuja,
But
I mean,
Nitin,
I'm curious to know. Sorry, I mean, I'm curious to know what does this kind of messaging do to the players? I mean, what kind of a messaging has probably gone to Jaiswal? What kind of messaging has happened with KL Rahul? What kind of messaging has happened with Rishabh Pant? We all hear, in glowing terms about how clear the messaging has been from Rohit Sharma to maybe a Sanju Samson or to maybe another guy, always willing to put an arm around his shoulder and talk a player out of his issues. Uh, I'm curious to know what kind of messaging has gone on here with Rishabh, with Yashasvi, and with Rahul from Gambhir here.
for somebody who's stare rather to look from outside of the Gautam Gambhir laboratory that's been created over the past few months, where everyday experiments is like what we did in school in lab, where your trial and error keeps happening. uh, the one thing that I really wanted to ask Gambhir was, okay, you've said KL Rahul is your first choice, your number one wicketkeeper. There's no place for two wicketkeeper bats. But what are you doing with the batsman called KL Rahul?
Yeah.
In the first two matches, you're playing him at number six, and he looked extremely uncomfortable, playing. Then you get him back to his comfort zone with no guarantee what he's going to play in the first match of the
Yesterday he was
Champions
listed
Trophy.
in at number 7.
Seven, and but came in at five.
Came in at 5. Yeah.
And what, like you said, what a beautiful innings he played, that Cabo
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
he played. But what is the, see, I really don't know how much of communication goes on between players and Gambhir, because he always seems to have a poker face. So I don't know if he smiles with them and has these chats. I think it's very important for him to define roles. And one of the things that really needs to stop in Indian cricket is conversations that is meant to happen with players being spoken about in press conferences. X is ineffective. Y is this. Please go and tell X and Y that. No, don't come and communicate it to them through media. I think they deserve better than this. And I really hope somebody like Jaiswal, difficult to fit him in at the top of the order now, but he's been communicated effectively, because he's somebody, who we are going to see a lot of across formats over the years.
Hmm. Well, the Mumbai Ranji team will not be complaining because he'll
Oh,
be playing for
totally.
Mumbai again. He'll be playing
I,
for
I
Mumbai against
I
Vidarbha.
immediately thought of that. As soon as he was dropped, I thought, अब तो ये मुंबई के लिए
Yeah,
आएगा semi-final
yeah,
में.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he'll play at Jamta. It will be an interesting semi-final. Yeah, but yeah, that was it, guys. Thanks for being on the show. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Dwaipan. Thank you, Manuja. To
Thanks,
all
Ritesh.
to all the people who watched. Thank you for being with us. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll join you again tomorrow evening. Thank you so much.